Welcome to Let's Talk Worship podcast. I am so excited to give you guys an update. Today's going to be a little bit of a different episode. I am not at home. I'm in my son's house, and I don't have all the bells and whistles of our introduction and all that in our setup here. And Wi-Fi is not necessarily the strongest, so I'm still in the valley. And I am, as you notice, it's been a minute since I did an episode. So I am today recording from the Central Valley in the Clovis area after we did our presence camp. So, first of all, thank you so much for those of you that came alongside us and helped us financially and prayed for us and even provided things for the camp. There are so many of you that I would like to thank. It's just overwhelming. The camp was above and beyond anything I could have ever expected. It was our first camp, and definitely it was a success. I think so. I pray the Lord is pleased with us. Before I move into the details, I would like to invite you to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our podcast. And the reason for this podcast, the mission of this podcast, is that we can have an environment to um, equip and speak openly about how to host the presence of God. So, thank you so much for being supportive and for following us and listening, even if you don't agree. I think we need to start talking about the new and how the Lord is going to move in this new season. So, thank you very much for watching and uh, being with us during this time. Remember, we meet every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, thank you so much for making time to listen. They're recorded so you can watch at any time. I am so grateful for those of you that watched the episodes, that have watched all the previous episodes. They're all archived. And thank you so much for Inside Now. Inside Now is the organization that I partner with, and they provide this platform. Today is not the best of setups. The definition may not be great, and the signal may be delayed. So I apologize for that. But again, I'm in the valley, and that's the price I pay. But I haven't been able to go home and rest and even process what happened in camp. But I want to thank Inside Now for making this possible. A lot of the support that we received came from the podcast, people who heard about the camps and what was going to happen and what we needed the money, posting it in Facebook and those kinds of things. So thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you that came through financially. The Lord had given me a word in 2022 that when I saw abundant generosity, extravagant generosity, I will know that He is confirming what's happening. And it was extravagant. We were able to cover most of our fees, and I will give you guys an update on everything that happened. So there are incidentals that came along, and they're huge. But what we had planned all was taken care of. So thank you, Inside Now, for making uh, this possible. The other folks that I want to thank is my friend Chris and Ria, the in California embroidery in Lodi. They created these most amazing t-shirts. They're the highest quality I've ever seen, and they donated the all the t-shirts. The kids came up with the words, in the words we call the camp captivated. That's the word they wanted to use, is to be captivated by the king. And it's a generation awakened by love. So the kids that were going to be in camp, they, and some that were not even in camp, agreed to come up with this wording, and we use Psalm 27. One thing we seek in that thing is to be in the presence of God, of course. And we had that verse in the back. So California Embroidery made that possible. They took the designs, the logo, the name, all of it, and they actually helped us and did all kinds of things and sent us all kinds of sizes. So we ended up with these t-shirts that are amazing. And everywhere we went, we wore them, and they knew that we were part of a group that is about presence and about worship. So thank you so very much to California Embroidery. I also want to take the time to thank every single person that came through with donations. Friends of mine from long time ago, people that didn't even know us came through with this. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your donations. It made this possible. I also want to thank an organization called Gleaning for the Hungry. It is an organization connected to YWAM. Those of you that know about YWAM is Youth with a Mission. I am so overwhelmed with gratitude for this organization. So if you are watching, Stephanie, Shelly, Andy, uh, every person that we met, Fritz, they're all part of the staff there in Gleaning for the Hungry. Gleaning for the Hungry is an organization, part of YWAM, that's located here in the Central Valley. And what they do is they take the fruit, the peaches, and they also take a lot of grains, things that are donated, and they dry them, they package it, and it's sent out to the nations. And they can feed the nations. And that is something that speaks so loudly to me. So I am so, so thankful for Gleaning for the Hungry. And I invite you to donate to them, to partner with them. People come from all over the world. They even have a quilting area where they make quilts for the Holocaust victims. So that's my next adventure. I'm going to see if I can go and do some quilting. We couldn't do that because they weren't doing it the day we went. So on the first day of camp, we partnered with Gleaning for the Hungry, and we packaged 3 pallets. Each pallet will feed 14,000 people. So 42,000, I think it was, that we calculated. Individuals will be fed, children especially, in different locations, and those pallets are sent over the nation. So our team was able to do all that in just one afternoon. In the morning, we planted gardens and helped Shelly, lovely Shelly. I send you kisses, Shelly. You were so warm and so beautiful. And she told me, I'm not a outdoorsy kind of girl. I like my jewelry, and it was hot and it was uncomfortable. But Shelly helped, taught me how to plant peas. So I do pray that those peas will be so huge. We planted seeds. We cleaned her garden. We did all kinds of things that the kids were able to engage. They built her a table. We have pictures. It's just beautiful how the kids engaged, and it was so warm, and yet they were all over helping. So we were able to be in chapel with them and worship with them, and they fed us the most amazing meals. So the food, the snacks, and everything was amazing. So Gleaning for the Hungry, thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing us to come in. And they have a great store of things that they sell. So we also were able to go in and do a little shopping and contributing. So thank you. Made a huge difference. That was our first day. By the way, the schedule and the itinerary was thrown out the window. The Lord had other plans. We wanted to go to Yosemite, and that didn't work. So we spent our next few days in worship. And my goodness, these kids delivered. The Lord showed up in amazing ways. Thank you to my son who led a lot of the training for digital music on how to hear the Lord and digitally reproduce some music. Some of the boys did that. We had painting, we have creativity, we have prophetic youth. Made the most amazing things to speak to people in camp. Of course, they had a lot of fun. They ate a lot. We had a pool and a little bit of a spa, so they would come after our big hikes. One of the big highlights was going up to mountain behind Gleaning for the Hungry. We would go there in the evenings and see the sunset. And one of the days we did worship up there. So the kids brought their guitars, and we have to make some instruments. We ended up with a bucket as a drum, and some I was using my a screw that I found on the floor with my water bottle, and we make some sounds, and we worship. We worship until the sun went down, and it was amazing. And we will come down from the mountain and then get together, barbecued, and eat and worship, and then worship some more. One of the highlights, in addition to all these gorgeous activities, for me was gathering young people from this area, in with the kids that came from Washington State. One of the things that the Lord had spoken to me about is, if I am the one leading the camp, which He should be, I'm not a pastor. Um, then the kids don't have to necessarily know each other or train together. All we need is to be connected in the spirit. And we had a couple of girls that came that are from here, who I have known from before. You guys knew one of them because I had interviewed her here in our show, Kaden. So we got them together, and without any instruction or any introduction, they knew the Holy Spirit, and they were able to synchronize in worship in the presence of God. And that to me was the ultimate test that this does work. So we worship, and we will do long periods of worship, quite a lot of revelation. Thank you so much to Shekinah Christian Center. They provided most of the kids that came from Washington State, and it's a place where I go and train. Thank you, Pastor Maggie Joe. You've given me permission to invade your space, but also um, take your kids. So they're her kids. So she was there as a mom and as a pastor. And Ryan Yanis is also an amazing worshiper, and I have to honor him because, as a man, I sometimes need covering, and he was amazing to keep discipline, to keep the boys in on target, but also musically to be able to provide guidance and bring all those instruments. Imagine, from Washington, it was a trailer full of things. But I said all the good news, but we also had bad news. As they were driving two cars. One of the cars died, and that car is toast. And I mean, the repairs cost more than the car. So they lost the car. The hook of the trailer also broke. It was the trailer that was bringing all the instruments. And, it wasn't without war. We fought every minute, every step of the way to get them here, but also, to keep things cohesive. So I can tell you that as we approach this presence movement, I can tell you it's going to be, there's going to be an opposition. Is the book of Ezra, chapter 4. That we're going to build the tabernacle, but it's going to be not without a fight. This land, by the way, their car broke the moment they crossed the border between Washington, Oregon, and California. So we hosted our camp in a town called Ridley. And the reason why we did it there is because the Lord has shown me a very specific place that belongs to great friends of ours. Thank you so much, because they allow us to rent their home. It's a home that's an Airbnb. It's an amazing space. And the Lord has shown me amazing things that were going to happen in that house. And it did. It did happen. So thank you very much, CJ and Maureen. I love you dearly, and for allowing me to uh, bring all these people. We had 12 people at one point, all there, eating, swimming, doing everything. So it was an amazing gathering. It was an amazing time. God gave us tons of revelation. And for me personally, it was confirmation of much. I also want to thank my friend Zena Glass, who came and became my she took care of the food and a lot of the administrative stuff, which I'm not very good at because I like to worship, but I don't like the details. But she did. She was able to know what the kids would like and ate and all those details that are necessary for people to be energized and be connected. So thank you, Zena. Also, she loves to paint, so she also painted with the girls. I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you to the kids that were so willing to do things out of the box and break the rules. Thank you to the mothers that trusted us with their children, and thank you to the Lord most of all. I want to thank God for everything He did. It was amazing, amazing encounters, amazing. For me, I'm very selfish. I was on cloud nine. I got so much accomplished this weekend. So thank you very much for those. I can see the what the Lord wants to do. And again, thank you for those of you that contributed financially. You know who you are. And thank you for being so generous. We were able to cover all of the expenses. The incidentals like the car and all those kinds of things is too much. Is too. I don't know how we're going to do that, but we'll see. I am praying that I am able to pay my staff so that I can continue doing this. So we will be having. My goal is to have 2 camps a year. So if you're interested, my email is larosina.malvina@gmail.com. Please contact me and we can plan. If you have youth that you would like to train, I like to equip them and disciple them before we do camp, which is what I did with these kids in Washington. I've been going to Washington for quite some times. We do kind of a youth group, all kinds of kids come. It's all inclusive, everybody can come, but then we're able to harvest those that have a heart for hosting God's presence. Not every child wants to do this. Some, they have to be healed first. We have to pray for them and disciple them properly. So then we're able to select a group to do this. It is important that we have an understanding of who God is and a desire to host Him. Some people don't necessarily have that heart. So that's one of the things that get me in trouble. But going back to thank you, everybody, for hosting us, for tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for those of you that donated. Thank you to Inside Now. Thank you to all that participated. Thank you to Shekinah Christian Center in Longview, Washington. Thank you so much for trusting me and my group in coming from so far and doing this. I am delighted of everything that the Lord do and how we minister to the Lord. I learned so much. I learned so much from the youth. They were incredibly amazing, willing to be in unity. I saw that. I saw unity. They were not criticizing each other, they were hosting the Lord. So thank you so much. And I hope you can hear my excitement. Thank you for those. I have someone send oils and send keys for the kids and the people who gave the t shirts. I mean, there was so much honoring for the children, and I know they value that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll be going home now, and I need to process. I am so excited, and I'm going to have our next show and maybe share some of the revelations that he gave me during camp. But before that, I wanted to say thank you. We will do this again for sure, and the kids already have plans of what's going to happen on the next camp. So one of the things that they did ask me is, how am I going to do the next one, and how am I going to invite others? And I told them, I said, I rely on you guys. You guys experience, you guys get the next generation, you guys get the word out, just like the church did in the New Testament. Get people to know how Jesus moves, not just a salvation exercise, but understanding how we host the presence of God. I thank you guys for listening. I thank you guys for being, our supporters. And thank you, Inside Now, for making this possible. Sorry, I'm wearing my glasses, but my eyes are very, very tired. And I am delighted and overjoyed. Overjoyed is the word of everything that God did. So thank you very much. And I will see you guys next week with a real um, a podcast, and we will cover some of the revelations. Um, I will close with this. We are in the 6th month of the Hebraic calendar. October 3rd, we're going to enter in a new season um, of the Hebraic calendar. We go into the 7th month, and that is the Feast of Trumpets. And I believe there is a shift. So when I do the show next week, I may cover some of that, what God has shown me prophetically of what's coming. I'm super, super excited of the coming days. It will be the best of time, but it will also be the worst of time. So I will have a prophetic word and I will share it with our audience. And again, get the word out. Even though we don't have a camp, I encourage you to support us financially because, like I said, we still have some expenses, but we also want to start planning for the next camp, which is probably going to be spring or summer. I would like to come back here and do more gleaning for the hungry. Is the season of peaches, so they dry peaches to send to the nations. The peaches that nobody wants because they get the gleaning, they get the left behind fruit that doesn't sell in the stores, and they dry it and send it to the nations. So I want to encourage you to continue partnering with us so that we can continue helping, traveling, and equipping. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, next week, we will talk more prophetically on what's going to happen. I love you all, and thank you for supporting us.